Hello, Pirates. It's Adun. It's time for another war recap. Pirates were victorious, 41-33 against Pangaea, a pretty dominant victory. If we look at the war details, you see their top guys failed to deliver. Our top guys did deliver, and then our mid-range and lower guys also followed up and sealed the deal. Looking through, we got myself with the six-pack. We'll see those attacks shortly. Double A with the six-pack, very impressive. Zhoff as well, and Stormtrooper, so some very dominant performances from some guys in the clan this war. So let's look at a couple of those recaps. The first one, number one here, myself. A little weird to cover myself, but that's alright, we're just going to do it anyways. This is a pretty classic Town Hall 10 ring base. So drop the giant there and some wall breakers to open up that corner. That new level 40 queen, which is oh so nice to have. She's just going to step into that pocket there, and you can see she can reach the wizard tower, the gold mine, the elixir storage, all that stuff. That's going to break off one side of the funnel. She also lures the clan castle, just a max dragon and a couple balloons, so that's fairly easy for her to deal with a couple poison spells. Lures the skeleton trap is a nice bonus. And then at this point we start the other half of the funnel. Drop the king there to tank that archer tower and a couple wall breakers to bust in there. So the king, a few wizards go with. Their goal is to create the other half of the funnel. So the wall breakers go in over here and they blow up that wall, so it lets the king into the ring. So that should break off the other half of the trash ring. The queen is over there trying to bust through a wall now. My king ability was real late, and as a result he goes down pretty hard for those two X-bows and the cannon. But that's okay. The miners are coming in. Max miners out of the clan castle too. And they're starting to pour in. I was a little worried they'd track around to the right because of that gold storage. But a decent chunk of them go into the middle. I normally like to save that freeze for the back end, but I was a little anxious about making sure I got a 2-star, so I dropped it on the front end. And then since all the threat of this base, all the Expos, all the Teslas, the Infernos are in the core, I just kept that all raged up the whole time and let them plow right through those Inferno towers and Teslas. On the other side, drop a heal spell to meet those miners. Probably not the best placement. You can see from the buildings they're going to go around to the left, kind of a counterclockwise motion away from my heal spell, which is kind of unfortunate, but they do get some of the value out of it. But at this point, with how many miners are alive, it can be kind of difficult to see that, but you see there's a pretty good crowd of them over here with the Archer Queen. Even if all the miners were dead, the Queen could probably finish this one off by herself. But as the big squad of miners and the Queen march around the edge, the 3-star is a sure thing. So that was actually my second attack. I hit number 2 first. So watch that real quick. I don't like to show 2 replays from one person, least of all myself, but we don't get terribly too many Town Hall 10 versus Town Hall 10 attacks, so I figured I'd show it. I dropped the queen over here to do a walk. You'll notice I dropped those healers in range of that archer tower. This was a calculated risk. I was hoping that the balloon would get in there and kill the archer tower before the healer went down, and it does, just barely, but then the balloon goes in, lures a dragon out of the clan castle, and dies. But 1 balloon for 1 archer tower is not bad. You see over here I had to drop 2 balloons to get that same trade. Just to clear that up, you can see that on the outside there's really not many air targeting defenses, just the archer tower spread around. So I can drop a half dozen to 8 minions or something like that around the edges of the space to pick up some pretty huge value for a very small cost. So those high HP storages on the side there are getting picked off, for basically nothing. Then same story as before. I dropped my king up at the top with a handful of wizards behind him. To break off the other half of the funnel to get my miners to go into the core. Again, a lot of the threat in this base is in the center, so you just need to make sure your miners have nowhere to go but the center. I almost screwed that up with these mortars, but fortunately after the mortar goes down, the king was fast enough over on the edge to get them into the core now. So now the balloons pull out of the clan castle, my archer queen's in trouble, and I chose not to use a rage on her. Instead, saved it for the miners, just to get them working through that multi-target Inferno a little faster. I think it was the right choice. It did leave that balloon alive, which was a little unfortunate, but Not the end of the world. You can see the miners are pretty quick, and a lot of the times, before the balloon can even get on top of them and drop a bomb, they burrowed again and headed off to the next building. So the king actually survived the whole time. Man, that king as he gets to high levels is just a total beefcake. He is the man. So he survived the whole raid without even having any healers on him for the first part of my 6-pack. Now for the fail of the week, I would say. Maybe it's a little harsh of me, but Griswold, he's been making some good improvements lately, but he did not deliver this war. Didn't use his second attack at his first attack on this ring base. You remember how I pulled this off, taking the corners off, breaking off your funnel, kind of the fundamentals. Griswold chooses not to do that. Drops in some troops, kind of random. He's got a really diverse army composition here. Drops 3 golems in and all his wall breakers, but you know what's going to happen once they do break through those walls eventually, because he had a wall breaker fail. But once they do eventually break through those walls, there's very low probability they're actually going to go into the core. So, sure enough, that's what happens. You see a couple more hog riders coming out, and they're going to go left. The bulk of his troops go right, but the hog riders get smoked by a dragon up there on the left side. His archer queen, tries to take down the dragon and the balloon, but he misses the ability, so that didn't happen. Now, single target Inferno's cooking his P.E.K.K.A. You remember he had a clan castle now, so he dropped all his wizards in to their doom. And unfortunately, he even fails to get the 1 star on this base, which rather tragic. So no loot for him until the next patch. Said they're going to change that so that you can get partial loot from clan war attacks. So that should benefit some of us in the next in the next patch. All good fun, Griswold. We love you. Alrighty. Next attack I want to show you is doubleaplusron. Taking on number 7, I think it was. No, I'm sorry, number 5. This is a Town Hall 9.5. Double A is a Town Hall 9.5, which means he has not dropped his Inferno Towers. So he's just working with Town Hall 9 level defense, basically, but with the Town Hall 10 level offense. So he comes in with the Queen Walk here. The Army Camp is a really helpful place to get your Queen going a certain direction. So when you drop it on that side of the Army Camp, odds are she's going to go kind of the opposite direction from it just because they're so big. So sure enough, she starts walking up counterclockwise. I don't know if that's really what he intended, but that's what worked out for him. He's got 4 wall breakers, which is just barely enough to break open this wall and to break open a wall for his king. So he has to be perfect with those wall breakers if he wants to have success. And he got a little gun shy there, thought he was going to have a wall breaker fail, so he dropped all 4 of them on this side. So that's going to create some issues trying to get his Valkyries to go into the base. So he drops a double poison here, and at this point, when he's doing this raid, he's probably a little bit in panic mode. He's trying to figure out how he can salvage this raid and make sure that he still gets that triple. So drops the king over there to tank for a few of his wizards, and once all those buildings are down, he goes ahead and drops the Valkyries. So they come from this top angle up here. If he would have dropped them more over here on the side, they would have gone after that Dark Elixir drill, and they wouldn't have gone into the base. Drops his clan castle Valks, and they kind of force all of his own Valks to go into the core. So that was a nice recovery. With that wall breaker overreaction, he had to do something to get this back on track, and that worked. Drops that rage spell, just keeps those Valks cutting through those walls like they're butter. And at this point, it's just basically a matter of cleanup. He's got so many Valks left running around this base. His queen's still up there with healers on her, so even if everything died here, everything's in range of her. He'd probably have plenty of time to get the 3-star done. So we'll speed it up here a little bit with this crowd of Valks there with the queen just blasting their way around the edge of this ring. They smash their way through all these buildings, kill the defenses, and get through that wall to clean the base out for a 3-star. Nice work, Double A. Alright, our next person who got a 6-pack was Zhoff, so we're going to watch his top attack. Zhoff is a pretty fresh Town Hall 9 now, level 5 Queen, still level 2 Valks and level 2 Golems, even a level 1 jump spell. So this is a fairly fresh Town Hall 9 that he's attacking. No Archer Queen you can see, but he does have the Expos dropped. So it's not a trivial base by any means. Zhoff drops his Wizards, creating a very nice wide funnel to make sure that his Valks don't go anywhere. See, those wall breakers went in, they would have been perfect other than for that giant bomb. So he drops a couple more, and that was beautiful. They got a little foiled there, but they did weaken the wall up. That allows his Valkyries to smash their way through this wall under a heal spell. Drops double poison for the clan castle and some wizards out of his own clan castle. At this point, he could have had his queen down. I think he's been Town Hall for too long. He might have forgotten about her. But that's okay, because the wizards actually got the job done. So now he saves that jump for the back end, lets the Valks out of the core, prevents them from getting landlocked, which is always nice. So now he's just smashing his way around the edge. The wizards in the core have survived, which is really nice. So they're now marching across to their doom, but they survive for quite a long time. Drops a heal spell to keep them alive, which I think is actually pretty brilliant, because they're in range of all those point defense right there. So, they get 3 defenses dead for that 1 heal spell, 4 defenses dead. So that's really not a bad trade at all, and it actually keeps them alive. They kind of run off now to go around a wall to hit that Dark Barracks. And it gets the Golemites to get out in front of him. So kind of a nice heal spell there. You don't see him used on Wizards very often, but it worked for him. So Zhoff with the early Town Hall 9, but killing other early Town Hall 9s very effectively. So that's great. That's what you want to see as a Town Hall 9. These are the kind of bases you want to target. So good work there. All right, and now I want to watch Stormtrooper killing number 13. This will be the last recap of this war. I thought this was a really cool mass dragon attack. A lot of mass dragon attacks are kind of spray and pray, and you just hope it works out. But he had a really good plan for this base. He zaps that one in the middle, 2 zaps and a quake. He's got 9 dragons. You can see now the air defenses are on opposite sides here. And at this point, when I was watching this live, I was like, oh man, how's he going to get this done with that air defense over there? Maybe he's got a lava hound in the clan castle or something. But anyway, he drops his dragons over here, a couple on the edges, like we always see, to make the middle ones go into the sweet spot. Rages them up on top of that air defense. That'll also help him get through any clan castle troops that might happen to pop out. It seems like only a few archers came out, so the stuff that's in there is probably only going to be targeting ground. But here's the beauty of this attack. Drops his king up here to tank those 4-point defenses, and 2 Teslas popping was pretty scary for his king. But then hogs out of the clan castle, and they just jump in and wipe that air defense right out. I mean, they probably wouldn't have made it through without the king tanking for them. So that was a really cool use of your barbarian king on a mass dragon attack. I really liked this one. So it was a cool way to handle those air defenses. As a Town Hall 8 using mass dragons, you always want to be sure that you have a plan for all those air defenses. And Stormtrooper sure did. So very cool attack, and the first part of his 6-pack too. So maybe this is just a 6-pack focused recap. Some very impressive attacks, and some very, very good skill out of our players. Very happy to see, especially some of our early Town Hall 9s stepping it up this war. So great work, Pirates. Another victory. As of now, I'm getting ready to move out west, so probably won't be doing any wars, and therefore probably not many recaps for a while. So we'll see you soon, and anyways, I hope you learned something from the recap. We'll see you next time.